And just moments ago, Donald Trump was taking questions at the White House on the situation in Los Angeles. We've got some sound for you now.
Peter? President, have you gotten an update from your negotiating?
Thank you, President Trump. So it seems like Gavin Newsom likes the attention that he's getting right now from you.
Yeah,
it seems like he does. If you look at recent history, somebody who was running for president, you, who got arrested and had a mugshot, you could make the argument that politically that wound up helping you. Are you worried at all at this moment that talking about him getting arrested could be helpful to his political prospects? Because a lot of people think he wants to be sitting right where you are.
Well, in my case, it was a witch hunt, and everybody knew it. And I was able to explain that during the process. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And it was a total witch hunt. It's proven to be a witch hunt, and you see what's happened. In his case, it really is very obvious. You look at what's happened between the fires, I could name 10 things right now. We talk about the trains. We talk about all of the costs in California. You talk about all of the people that are flowing and destroying life for everyone else. So, no, I don't think it's going to help him. I think it's actually very bad for him.
And right around the time that we were walking in here, the governor and the state attorney general said that they're going to sue you for sending the National Guard in. They're saying there's no invasion, there's no rebellion. The president is trying to manufacture chaos and crisis on the ground for his own political ends. Federalizing the California National Guard is an abuse of the president's authority under law.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You watched the same clips as I did. Cars burning all over the place, people rioting. And by the way, we stopped it. We were able to make it much better, but it still looked pretty bad. And in watching clips last night, people were saying this is really a big problem. And until we went in, if we didn't do the job, that place would be burning down just like the houses burned down. They were in big trouble last night, Peter. You know it. And the night before, and the night before that. And I feel we had no choice. I don't want to see happen what happened so many times in this country. I watched Minneapolis burn. Look at what happened in so many different parts of California. You take a look at what happened in San Diego. There's so many different places where we let it burn. We wanted to be politically correct. We wanted to be nice. We wanted to be nice to the criminal. And what you're doing is destroying the fabric of our life in this country. No, we did the right thing. We've been given credit by people that I would least suspect. Why I would say that some of the people that came in and said, thank goodness, they said, some of them, thank God that Trump got involved. And I'm very happy I got involved. And I think Gavin, in his own way, is probably happy I got involved. Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
What do you make of the fact that he says you want a civil war on the streets of America?
No, it's just the opposite. I don't want a civil war. Civil war would happen if you left it to people like him. And I liked him. You know, I always got along with him. Never had a problem with him. But he's grossly incompetent. Okay.
Negotiators in London.
All right, that was President Trump speaking at an event in the White House, answering questions about the decision to send the National Guard to Los Angeles. He was being grilled there a bit by Peter Doocy from Fox News. One of the things he was asked was whether or not it could be actually good for Governor Newsom, or whether he thought he needed to do this. And the president said he'd been watching hours of television. He'd been watching the images, and people say, something we hear from the president a lot, people said we needed to do something. Trump said, quote, I feel we had no choice. Now, that obviously has been disputed by California officials and many other watchers, including possibly our own here at MSNBC. And I want to go now to the executive director of More Perfect Union, Faz Shakir, Peter Baker, and Paul Rieckhoff. Paul, I want to start with you. What is your take on what we just heard from the president, that he had no choice but to send the National Guard in, even though the governor said we don't need them?
Trump is on plan. This has been the plan. Trump has selected California, he's selected Los Angeles, and he's selected Gavin Newsom to wage this first political battle with a governor. And he has been dictating the pace and the terms of everything for the last couple of months. And he's now challenging Newsom and the Democrats and America to stop him. Whether or not this is bad for Newsom or bad for Trump, it's bad for America. It's bad for our democracy. It's bad for the troops in uniform. It's bad for ICE. It's bad for the protesters. It's bad for everyone. Who it's not bad for is Vladimir Putin. and North Korea and any other enemies that want to celebrate America divided. So I think this is a test case for Trump on whether or not he can roll over Newsom. Is Newsom going to be a martyr, or is he going to be an example of what can happen in other states? But I think Trump is on plan. He's moving forward, and he's going to continue to do this and challenge other governors in days to come. But he picked Newsom, and now it's on.
Peter, to that point, Trump has been picking a fight with Gavin Newsom for years, obviously probably because of his potential presidential aspirations. But there's a bit of why are you so obsessed with me going on here? You know, Trump is president. He's in the Oval Office. He is term limited. Why does he care so much about who potentially runs in 2028? And should that tell us something?
Well, Trump always operates better when he has an enemy, right? Politically speaking, he is most comfortable when he has somebody to go after. And at the moment, he doesn't have a challenger, right? He doesn't have another candidate to go after, and so he's looking for people to contend with. He likes to mix it up. In some ways, Gavin Newsom is an obvious antagonist. He's the head of the largest state in the country. He's the head of a state that is seen as an example of liberal America, which Trump is targeting in so many ways, through academia, through law firms, through the news organizations, and so on. Trump believes that he, or at least is given the idea that he is deconstructing the liberal state, as it were, as it's developed over the last number of generations. And in some ways, Gavin Newsom represents that. He represents the state that represents that. He's also, Newsom is a pugilist as well. He has some of the Trumpian qualities. He's willing to get out there and mix it up himself. He doesn't mind a good scrap politically. And I think he likes being the one who will take on Donald Trump and being, the one person that Trump seems most eager to fight with. It works for him. It works for him politically. But I think, as we just said, obviously there are a lot of real people involved here, too, in politics, given that we're 3.5 years away from a presidential election. Seem pretty small compared to the stakes involved for a lot of real people who are facing, both situations in the streets and situations with ICE and situations, in so many other ways.
And Faz, we just heard the president get asked that very question, which is Trump actually handing Governor Newsom a potential opportunity here? There's been a lot of talk about how the response and the pockets are kind of playing into Trump's hand. But is Trump also playing into the worst vilifications Democrats like Newsom have tried to paint his administration? Do you think Newsom will try to use this to take on Trump head on?
Oh, he's effectively doing it already, Governor Newsom is. And if you listen to that answer, just like I heard it for the first time, just like you did. And if you listen to him, he said, well, the attacks on me were a witch hunt. These on Gavin Newsom are not, because he's doing things with rails and costs and immigrants running into his state. Therefore, he needs to be jailed. That seems to be the implication that Donald Trump is leaving you with, that has somehow risen to the cause of, for the first time in American history, putting a president putting a governor in jail. That's crazy, right? But why is he doing this? And I agreeing with all of your other guests that he not only needs a foil, he not only needs a distraction. Why is he doing it? Because he had the wrong foils and he had the wrong distractions last week. So if you walked through Monday through Thursday, we were dealing with two major things. Elon Musk was at war with Donald Trump, and you had the breakdown of a big, beautiful bill, which continues to be a big problem in the Republican Senate. So instead of having a discourse about the fights on the right and the Republicans having all kinds of disputes about this, and with Elon Musk, the most powerful man on the planet, he has now chosen purposefully to distract everybody and say, hey, I'm going to send Homeland Security agents into LA, cause a kerfuffle, and hopefully everybody will shift their attention over to this, and I'll have it out with a fun and entertaining fight with Gavin Newsom that is authoritarian in nature.
I do want to point out the White House has walked back those threats to potentially arrest the governor or the mayor of L.A., but that doesn't mean the rhetoric is backing down on either side. And Faz, we've got Newsom challenge the Trump administration to escalate things. Take a listen.
He knows where to find me. But you know what? Lay your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Lay your hands off these poor people who are just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror, the hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me, let's just get it over with. Tough guy. I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
Faz, Newsom has been recently trying to move a bit towards the middle. You know, he's gone on some right-wing podcasts. He's made some statements about trans athletes that really roiled a lot of the Democratic base. Does this help him get Democrats back on side, as some have kind of grown frustration with the way he's been moving and speaking in recent months?
Well, as a political matter alone, I mean, putting aside the immorality of the authoritarian nature of stuff that we're seeing, as a political matter, for sure, you know, any Democrat showing a fight against Donald Trump, it always accrues to the benefit of those, whether, you know, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Gavin Newsom, whoever it might be. If you are demonstrating that, you know, you have the courage, the convictions of and the confidence to assert that you have a very different moral and values-driven viewpoint of America, one that is built around solidarity of all of us and not picking on and beating up on the meekest and the weakest, then yeah, I think that it's going to accrue to him politically for sure, and we'll see where that goes. Whether he can become a president off of it, I don't know, but I think we're all looking for and wanting strong leadership in this moment to take on Donald Trump.